Years ago, as an entrepreneur, I knew something was off. Like something's missing. Like I can't put my finger on it, but something's not working the way it's supposed to. I'm missing something. And that's what this video is about today. How I'm leaving the business matrix trap from the perspective of an entrepreneur. And three questions I'm going to answer today is what is the business matrix trap? Also, how can you leave it? And number three, what will that mean for your life if you do? Okay, so let's dive into this. Now, if you're here, you're either a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur. This, came across this, probably have never seen me. I have a very small channel right now, trying to do about, one video a week and share and grow with this. I'm learning, yet you can relate as an entrepreneur to all the things that you're faced with building a business, starting a YouTube channel. And there's a lot of fears, there's a lot of unknown, there's a lot of challenges. Everything seems a little harder than you think it's going to be, and it can be frustrating, right? So I'm going to share a little bit about what I've discovered, and I feel like it'll be a huge aha for you. And I'm right around 50 right now, and I've been an entrepreneur for nearly 30 years. I've also been in sales. I've been in multiple different industries, and I've learned a lot. And it takes experience to kind of see things that you couldn't see before. And I'm sure when you were in your 20s or 30s, you thought you had it all figured out. And then you get in your 40s and 50s, like, man, I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. And I think that constantly happens, right? I'll look back at my age right now and be like, wow, there's a lot of things that I didn't see. But videos like this can help bring that awareness. It can bring a new, to your situation. In a way, you're calling this forth. Like this is a video created for you by you, right? And it just happens to be someone named Gavin who's doing this. So I feel like it's important as I get into like what the business matrix trap is. I need to go through a little bit of background to kind of relate with you, but also like apply it to your situation by sharing a little bit about mine. So I was a real estate agent for a long time. I actually doubled my business 4 years in a row. I had my own brokerage firm. I moved out to California. I've had multiple businesses, including a blog with my wife. I did a lot of sales. I had a very flexible job in San Diego that allowed me to have extra time. And so I did business consulting for over 10 years, and that's a whole nother story. And then I've done quite a bit of like digital products. I've written multiple books, just wrote a new book called Blissfully that is in Amazon now. Yet I share that with you because over the years, I've had these ahas of, hey, that thing that I feel like that's missing is a trap that almost every entrepreneur falls into. Why do you like being an entrepreneur? Here's almost everybody will say the freedom, the possibility that there's no ceiling. I can, make as much money as I want. I can be creative. I get to call the shots. I don't have to answer to a boss, right? All wonderful things and all part of the problem too, and that entrepreneurs fall into and how they get stuck in their own version of the matrix. And that's the thing is like a lot of entrepreneurs think I'm getting out of the matrix by becoming an entrepreneur. And they don't realize they've been sold a bill of goods and doing the traditional things and therefore just recreating the same thing within their own business world, that they're stuck in that. And so how I came to realize that is when I would have success in businesses, I would look and be like, gosh, like I thought it would feel different. And I thought like I would feel more accomplished. I thought I would feel better. I thought there'd be more meaning, right? And then when I failed at businesses, there was always this common theme that when the going got tough, I would just tell myself, I just don't like it. Like, I don't want to spend my time doing this. This is not, who I am. This is not how I want to spend my time on this planet. And when I looked at both those scenarios, the success and those failures, they had something in common. And what that was I would go into those businesses almost always for the wrong reason. Either The number one reason was, hey, I think this looks like a good opportunity. I can make money doing that without really looking at, do I have the skill set? Does that match what I'm about? And would I enjoy it? Okay. And if you don't ask yourself those questions, when the challenges, when the struggle, when all the stuff we know is going to happen happens, those roadblocks become so not fun that only a few overcome it. And I would say I'm a casualty of rarely ever overcoming those roadblocks. It wasn't worth it. The pain wasn't worth what I had to do to make the money or run that business. It was a grind. It became a job. And that's what most entrepreneurs do, is all they're doing is trading one matrix component, like a job, into their own job and their own boss. And then they're so bad at being a boss that their business suffers. They don't see any of this. And then they feel upset. And I know this because I've coached a lot of people on this topic, and I've experienced it firsthand over and over and over. And it's a vicious cycle. Okay. So when I started looking at myself, looking in the mirror, I realized, okay, with these patterns, there's something missing. And just like I alluded to, what was missing was I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. I wasn't spending my time on my gifts and my talents and what I enjoyed and what lit me up. Like, that was like this separate thing. And I would be focusing on, like, gosh, I see other people doing this business. If they can do it, I can do it, without thinking like, gosh, that product or, that subject or that, service was not something I was passionate about. It was not something that like fed my soul. Okay. So many entrepreneurs feel just like I did, where like have your own business, but your soul is crushed. Your soul is pissed off. And you're like, gosh, it's the success trap. I've done it. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm getting these results, but I'm not happy. This doesn't feel right. Something's off. And that's a huge aha on like why everything is so difficult, that everything is so much harder than you were expecting. This channel is called Blissfully. If your business and your life aren't in flow, then something is wrong. If you're not happy, that is because there's a belief set that you think falsely, that we all get caught up in this illusion that if I just make this amount of money, if I have these material possessions, if I have this nest egg, if I have this house and this car, then everything will be okay. And then I'll be fulfilled. And then I'll be successful. And then people will think, oh my gosh, and want to follow me. And there's a lot of happy rich people, but there's a lot of miserable rich people because yes, they made the money, but it didn't satisfy their soul. It's not why they came here. It's not the game they came to play. Okay. So that was the realization. And that's the realization I really want to open your eyes up before I get into these questions, is that like I was chasing things which was causing my suffering. And then that was leading to preventing me from like as much success as possible. And like, ultimately my happiness, my joy. And I was coming from this place of lack, which I'll get more into. So that leads to the first question. How can you get out of the business matrix? Okay. And I shouldn't say the first question. I should reiterate that the business matrix is recreating the same trap you were in before, but in like kind of your own limited world in how you see things. And you're still bringing all your stuff. You're still stuck in that matrix. You're still controlled. You still haven't broken into that freedom. It just looks a little bit different. You've rearranged the chairs on the floor, okay? So going to question number 2, how can you get out of the business matrix? Well, the first thing is you've got to become aware that you're asleep. You've got to become aware that you are in the matrix, even though you think you're chasing that freedom. You're chasing like that you have these results and that like the success and that it's all on your terms. Okay. That's an illusion because you're still playing the traditional game and that everything is reliant upon a condition happening for you to experience happiness. And that keeps you asleep. That keeps you away from what's possible. That keeps, that prevents the creativity, that prevents the possibility. And you're stuck. And that's why you might feel stagnant. You'd be like, gosh, my business has gotten to this level or this level. Why can't I just break through? Well, this is one of the reasons, because at some level, you've moved the chairs around and you're still playing the limited game. Okay. And so, those things, that materialism, that chasing, that stuff keeps you in the matrix. It keeps you controlled by society's standards and beliefs of these things will bring you what you've been looking for. And that has nothing to do with meaning, nothing to do with purpose, nothing with truth or who you really are. All right. And this is the big foundation of what I teach over and over. Now, I want to address there's nothing wrong with materialism. There's nothing wrong with money or nice stuff. The house, the cars, all those things are, just fine. The problem comes in is when those things are the reliance on meaning and that you use those as the representation of purpose. That if that's what you're chasing, thinking like that's who you are, that once I get the cars and the houses, the materialism, so much money in the bank, like now I can feel secure and peaceful and happy. And that is a lie. That will not happen. You will be let down. And then you'll get caught in another business trap of the matrix of like thinking another level of success will make the difference. And that was what was missing. Oh, well, this I got here, but it must be more. It must be more. It must be more. And then it's never enough. You can never satiate the appetite of lack. And I say that again in a different way. There's no matter how much you do, if you're chasing something outside yourself and thinking it's conditional to feel good, you are going to be stuck in the business matrix and that trap, okay? So what needs to happen instead to get out of that illusion, to get out of that matrix, is you've got to really, the ultimate goal is self-discovery, is to, really be happy without needing anything and to know you have already all that you want. You can't give what you don't have. You are the haver and you are then the giver. And how you prove that to yourself, and this is what's so beautiful about businesses, is you give to show what you have. And the more you do that, the more abundant you realize you are. And a lot of times people are giving to get. That's just another form of lack. That's what most business owners are doing. Is like, oh, they're going to give this product, but they got to get this money in return. Okay. That's a limiting game. That's why they hit ceilings. That's why they're stuck, because they're like, there's not enough time in the day. I'm doing these things, but the return I'm getting on my investment of time and energy and what I'm putting out there is not what I would expect in return. And when you come from a place of complete wholeness, complete abundance, complete truth, knowing who you are, all you can be is the giver of what you are, that love, joy, abundance. And it'll show up in so many ways. And that's the effect, right? So, I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit further. The second step is that you have to play a different game. You have to turn it all upside down, right? And what I mean by that is you don't do what you've been doing where it's chasing the money, chasing the result, chasing the success, and then think that's going to bring the meaning and the purpose and that you're going to feel fulfilled. It's backwards. So what you're going to do is focus on your purpose, meaning, and who you really are first. And there's a lot of ways, and this is what I'm going to be teaching on this channel. I'd love to hear how you do that. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think so far about what I'm sharing. Can you relate to this? But ultimately, you've really got to become good at increasing your energy level, your vibration level, your frequency as it's described, and that is your baseline. That is your focus. So then when you do some of the physical world stuff and you engage in that, then you're coming from a place of your source, of your truth, of your purpose. And what will happen is, and this is one of the biggest things I teach. I'm about to do a workshop and I'll leave a link below, but it's called the Purpose to Profit Pipeline. Is like, how can you come from a place of like your purpose, your talents, your gifts, like your life's mission, discover what that is, what those things are, and then apply it into your current business, and then that's just going to naturally increase your vibration, because you are being the essence of like what lights you up, why you're here, right? And then what you're kind of encouraged, maybe slash forced or nudged to do, is to replace all the things that need to get done in your business with, well, either AI or employees or elimination of things that don't matter. And you're spending most of your time on your purpose. And it is an absolute game changer. And that's a whole nother video to teach you what that looks like. But you start doing the opposite of what traditional business teaches you. Is like, there's nothing inherently wrong with, all these marketing approaches or social media outreach or selling or sales and all these things. But when you come from it from that lack position, then that gets in the fabric of the whole system, and it is kind of like in the Matrix. It's laced with like a sleep, an illusion, a lack of awareness that you're caught up playing somebody else's game. And when you become aware and you flip it upside down and you come from a place of power and a place of truth, and you're very in tune and intentional about how you're spending your time, then everything changes. How you feel, the actions, the creativity, and how you run your business. And it's something that you start jumping out of bed with excitement, like, yes, 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 this is what I was missing. This is what I wasn't able to see before, that is going to help break through where I've been stuck, and to actually stay on that path of the business that I've always intended, that it provides a tremendous amount of value and service to people. So, and then, what will happen is the effects that you want, like you originally, like with like the money, with the profit and all the things that you can do with that, those will happen naturally, because that's like the law of the universe. That's like God's plan, however you want to look at it. But first, where's the cause? What's the cause? The cause of all the things that you don't want right now are your thinking, your feeling, your vibration, your lack. And that's all coming from a need to get certain results. Well, when you flip that and you're coming from a wholeness and abundance and what you can give, then you're causing truth to transpire. You're causing what most people will call miracles, but it's just natural law. And then the effect are all those things. And I hope you can see that distinction of that foundation. And this takes a ton of work. If you're a spiritual person, you meditate, and you can really feel those gains, and you feel little bit by little you're letting go of these past beliefs or these heavy things or these dharmas from your past, right? And you little bit by little bit. And that's what it looks like on this journey. And what I feel like is amazing, and what I'm teaching awakening through business is, yes, my wife used to worry, like, Gavin, you always you want to go meditate in a mountain. But then when you come back to this world, it's like, can you still be in that place of bliss and operate around other people, right? And so I just feel like business is the perfect training ground to apply these spiritual truths, and then what it looks like to come and be happy, like really, really happy, what I would call blissful, without needing anything in your business to go a certain way. And when you get better from coming from that state just naturally, more and more and more and more, and you raise your vibration, all the other areas of your business flow with it. You get this guidance, you get this intuition, you have this creativity, all this worlds and possibilities and answers that you've been wanting and not being able to see will now be very obvious. It'll be right in front of you. You're like, yes, this is it. And I will tell you, I said this title is how I'm, leaving. Like, I'm not saying I've left the matrix. I'm not saying I've got this all perfect, figured out. I'm not saying I'm like this ascended master or this awakened person. I've come a long way. I feel like I can teach about it. I can share about it, but I'm on the same journey with you, right? And this is what it looks like for me to fulfill my purpose. I'm wanting to awaken. I'm wanting to step into my truth. I love being an entrepreneur. I love creating. I love giving. I love sharing. I love connecting, right? All reasons we've all gotten into this. And so, how can we tap into that and really get through the shit and consciously get through the shit and leave behind that lack and limitation? And I've just, shared pieces of the puzzle with you of how to leave it, that you become aware of it, and number two, you flip it upside down and you start coming from a completely different direction than a need to get a certain result. And it will cause different effects when you do that. When you come from a place of wholeness and not lack, the effect of that will be massive abundance, right? And then what's cool is it's fun, but you're not tied to it. Like, wow, look at that. What else is possible? Oh my gosh. The reason I'm more excited is because I'm helping more and more and more people, which, yes, it might turn into more abundance in a lot of different ways, but like, that's not the chase anymore. The chase is the expression of truth, of who I am, of what's possible. And then that just happens to be one of the effects, not to mention like this nourishment, this fulfillment, this joy that is indescribable. And if you don't feel that way, something is wrong, and it can be turned around. You just change your perceptions and learn what that looks like. I will be teaching you and showing you and sharing with you and on this journey with you, okay? So you start by focusing on who you are, your purpose, your talents, your gifts, that those all are the path to your life's mission. What lights you up? What do you enjoy doing? What are you really good at? And then you make your business around that. Being who you are and experiencing that is actually the definition of true freedom. Not, oh, I have money and I can go do this whenever I want, but there's an attachment to that. There's still there's going to be requirements from you, okay? But when you really come from a place of detachment and acceptance and allowing, then it's like whatever unfolds, you're truly free. Right in this moment, you're good with whatever happens. That's freedom, not all this other stuff, okay? That society and the traditional matrix wants to keep you on. There's so many guys out there, I'm not going to name names, like, oh, how to create $1 million business within 1 month. All these catch things, and you're getting caught in the matrix by like, oh, that I'm after that chase. What if your chase was learning who you really are? What if your chase every day was experiencing inner peace? And then what would that mean when you're coming from that space throughout your day of like possibility and giving, rather than I've got to do this to get this return because then I'll be happy? You will always have it out there. You'll always be chasing it. And that's the truth that I realized in all my failures, and why I didn't stick with quite a few businesses, right? I wasn't willing to go through the challenges because I didn't like it. And that's probably happening to you to some level, okay? I'm saying I'm leaving the trap because it's a process. Like I said, you're just going to wake up a little bit more and more each day, and you use your business as the practice to awakening, as the possibility to express who you are and to live your purpose. Like, that's the intentional way you get to, all these spiritual books, all these, motivational books. It's like you go into your business knowing I'm probably going to get a little beat up. I'm going to have some challenges, and you get to look at that, and you get to experience that, and you get to see areas of limitation and areas you need to work on and areas of growth, right? And that your business is the beacon, is the catalyst for that growth. And I feel like entrepreneurs, that's really what we're chasing, is we know we're missing something about who we really are. We know there's more possible, and we want to experience that. And yes, the businesses and all these things that the society is going to look at are going to be like kind of fun, right? But it's the byproduct. It's not the foundation. The foundation is that truth of who we are, and seeing it and feeling it. And then the effect of it is like, wow, this is pretty cool. But you're not worried about the result like you used to. You're not needing that the same way. Okay, so now here's a couple of things I want to end on. Um, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, and I would love to, have your likes and ask questions like, is there anything that sets you off? Is there anything that you're wondering about? Is there anything that you would just like to share? I will answer that. Also, I have a community on school that's called the Blissfully Business Community. And I pretty much help people focus on three things: incorporating that purpose and what that looks like, actually leveraging themselves and using AI, okay, so they can spend more of their time on their purpose, and then increasing and raising their energy levels and their vibration so they're coming from that place of wholeness and not lack. So all the things I'm talking about in this is what I teach in that. It's a community because even though I have courses and trainings and a lot of helpful content in there, like what I've realized is in coaching over the years, without going through with other people, without getting that support, without getting, questions asked just to me, seeing it from the perspective of different people and having a little bit of accountability in there too, like it doesn't get applied. It doesn't become habitual. And so I feel like in this setting, it's the best way for results for that growth. Okay. I've made it extremely affordable. You can go there, whatever it costs now. It's changes a little bit. Right now, it's a beta group. It's very inexpensive. You might be watching this years from now, and who knows what it is then. But I want this to be accessible to people. So subscribe. Go check that out on the link below. You can go to blissfully.com, but also I'll leave the link straight to the school community. And much love, my friends. Enjoying being on this journey with you. And let's see what's possible together, okay?